Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host Brett Murphy, and for today's video it is going to be another top 10. And I'm going to be counting down the top 10 scariest Conjuring universe moments. So the Conjuring universe is arguably the scariest horror movie franchise going today. With 8 movies currently in its catalog, there's certainly got to be plenty of scares to go around. So in the spirit of Halloween, join me in counting down the top 10. Before we get into the actual top 10 countdown, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my other top 10s. So be sure to check that out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so, without further ado, let's hop right into things. Number 10. Look What She Made Me Do. This, to me, is by far the most underrated scare in the entire Conjuring universe. When I first watched this movie, this one got me more than any of the others. Does it lose some of its impact with repeat viewings? Sure, and that's why it appropriately ends up at the number 10 spot. It's simple, effective, and you definitely know it's coming. It's a guy wandering off alone in a horror movie in the haunted house itself. But the timing and location of the scare hits so hard, fast, and unexpectedly. It's a perfectly executed little scare that has always stuck with me. Number 9. La Llorona's first appearance, The Curse of La Llorona. When introducing a new ghoul to this ever-expanding universe, you definitely have to do something special to make them stand out. Especially when you're putting said ghoul's name right in the title. Thankfully, our introduction to this Latin American legend is both bloody terrifying and the only memorable bit in this entire movie. Number 8. The waterbed scene, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I'll admit, this one almost missed out on the list entirely. This third Conjuring flick was severely lacking in the scare department, with the departure of director James Wan. On top of that, this one was also spoiled in the trailer. However, it's still pretty freaking horrifying. And the fact that it's a small, poor, innocent child just has your basic protection instincts kicking in. Number 7. My House, The Conjuring 2. The build-up is what makes this one so special. We've all been home alone sick, from school or from work. And there have been times where it's been a nice, appropriately rainy day where you can just sit inside and relax and watch some TV. Now imagine that the TV is on the fritz, the remote moves around on its own, and you're seeing a ghost. The tension building is expertly executed here, as it slowly builds up to the well-crafted and perfectly timed jump scare from good old Bill Wilkins. Number 6. A Crooked Man in a Tent, The Conjuring 2. Okay, this one comes in the middle of a sequence that is panic-inducing enough. Ed is trapped inside the house by himself. He's also been blinded, Lorraine is outside freaking out because she's had a vision of Ed's death, and the house itself is literally doing everything possible to stop our heroes. They first play it up as a sort of moment of relief, at least for Ed, because we all already know what's coming. He heads into the little makeshift tent and listens to the little Crooked Man jingle, and then boom, you shit your pants. Number 5. Your Soul, Annabelle Creation. Another beautifully crafted scare that, despite being in the trailer, still hits undeniably hard. One of our main heroes, a young girl, goes into that one room that she's definitely not supposed to. As we know, she stumbles upon another young girl standing and staring out the window. The tension builds, and then suddenly the young girl spins around with a damn demon face, and our main little hero gets gobbled up some fast. Number 4. A Valak in the Painting, The Conjuring 2. Valak had been hinted at and only briefly seen up until this point. With the creepy painting on the wall, Lorraine stands in the room alone. The lights go out, the creepy-ass music kicks in, and we follow a shadow slowly making its way across the room. This is likely the most anxiety-inducing moment on this list. When the shadow finally reaches the portrait, we see the beautiful, gorgeous hands of a model wrap around the edges of the frame. And then it screeches and flies off the wall, chasing Lorraine, sending her crashing to the ground. Number 3. The Running Girl, Annabelle. This movie is awful. The worst, in my mind, of the entire Conjuring universe. But this is by far one of the most unexpected and scariest moments in the entire Conjuring universe as well. And definitely the best bit of this entire movie. It's just so quick and simple. Our main hero is in a room. She looks across the hall to the other room where a little girl stands. The door starts to close as the little girl begins to sprint across the hall, and then boom, she slams through the door and she's suddenly a full-grown adult, trying to kill our hero. It's an extremely effective moment that gets me every time, and the one original thing in this entire movie. Number 2, Hand Clap, The Conjuring. Now this one is by far the most iconic on this list. I mean, this moment has become so popular it is literally on the Blu-ray case. It's etched itself into pop culture and honestly, it deserves to be there. It's magnificently built up as we follow the mother around the house in the dead of night, as she follows little claps around the house referencing a game that her children were playing earlier in the movie. As she goes through the doorway to the basement, it slams behind her and she is forced to light a match. And just as this happens, a faceless voice asks her if she wants to play hide and clap. And just as quickly, a bodiless pair of hands jet out from the dark, clapping out her match, being her only source of light, leaving her trying to rip the door off of its hinges, trapped in there all night. The intensity of this scene cannot be understated. It's like a worst nightmare case scenario. It's iconic, it's effective, and above all else, it's scary. Number 1, Bathsheba on the Wardrobe, The Conjuring. The Chronicles of the Conjuring, the Lion, and the Witch on the Wardrobe. Yeah, that was an awful attempt at a joke. Upon first viewing, this was by far the most unexpected scare of the entire movie. The build-up is there, you're definitely expecting something. But as the great James Wan always does, he successfully throws you off with a false sense of security. You are totally expecting something to fly out of the wardrobe, and when it doesn't, you're like, phew, that was a relief. But then, as the camera slowly begins to pan upwards, it quick cuts to a close-up on the witch sitting on top of the wardrobe, making some ungodly noises before leaping down and chasing our protagonists. It is a perfectly crafted jump scare that truly terrifies the audience in an undeniably brilliant way. An unforgettable, heart-stopping moment that has yet to be topped by any other entry in this franchise. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my top 10. And while you're down there, feel free to let me know what top 10 you'd like to see me cover next. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.